Okay, so we're going to take a look at this introduction A, and I just want to walk you through it, and we're going to read it from the beginning, and I'll let you know my thoughts and how this paragraph could actually be improved. Even though this is one of the better introductions, it's really strong. You're going to see that has all of the elements and it's very clearly written, but let's go ahead and take a look at it sentence by sentence. So first, looking at the format before we get to the sentences, you can see that the format is perfect. It's got the name. This is supposed to be the student's name up here, the class, my name, and then the date, and then the title. And again, I don't care what title you have, just as long as you have a title, and the title should be centered in the middle of the page, so that's good. And then the first paragraph, of course, has an indentation, so this all looks good. We want our 1-inch margins on each side. That looks great. And then looking just really quickly at the quotation that is used here, without even reading it, I can see that it's in a sandwich, so it has according to. The book title is italicized. That's perfect. It does mention his name here, and then it also mentions his name here, which is not something that you need to do. So you only need to say it one time, and you can actually choose between them, or if you really want to, you can just have both the last name in both places. That's perfectly fine. The Tutor at Pass might tell you to take one of these out, and technically that's probably more correct, but if you want to leave both the last names in, that's perfectly fine. Okay. Um, and then I can also see the bottom bread here, the this shows sentence, so I'm going to be looking at that as I read it. The last name and the page number with no comma or anything in between, that's perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the beginning. So she starts off in the book Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Paulo Freire, an educator in philosophy, introduces two very distinctive educational methods: the banking concept and the problem posing concept. So this is a pretty strong beginning. There's no real hook or anything. We just get right into the introduction of Paulo Freire, and what she's saying about him here is very clear. So we're introduced to him. We get a lot of information in this first sentence. We get his name. We understand who he is. We don't get anything about Brazil, but that comes in the second sentence, so that's okay. But we do get the name of his book. We know that he's a writer of this book. And then more importantly, we also get the names and just barely introduced to the two types of education: banking concept here, problem posing concept. Now, I would say that this is slightly wrong, and that is the way that she uses concept in both places. So just be very careful about this. This is the banking model and the problem posing concept or problem posing education. Okay, so I don't believe that Paulo Freire ever uses the banking concept. So just be a little bit careful about that. That would be kind of like a minor thing. Okay, so next sentence, Paulo Freire compared and analyzed the two philosophies of education using his own experience when he taught Brazilian students how to read and write. Now, again, this is giving a little more information, and I really like how she talked about the concepts up here, and then she then talks about the two philosophies, okay? It is maybe possible to get these confused and not understand that the two philosophies are these two concepts because she's not using the same language. There would be a real easy way to fix that, and that's something that I want to encourage you to do as much as possible, and that is change this word to these. So as soon as we put in, these, or if it's just one thing, it's going to be this, maybe we're talking about, but this is a really strong connector word because it connects to the last sentence. And so what this does is it puts these two sentences together, and we can't separate them. They've got to be together. So this is a really good idea here. So referring to what you just referred to in the last sentence, these two philosophies of education, and using his own experience when he taught Brazilian adults how to read and write. So I think between these two sentences, she really gives a good and clear and simple introduction of Paulo Freire. Okay. And then again, just this little cleanup of this word, and then I would also like this word changed. Other than that, it's pretty much perfect. Okay, now for the quote. According to the book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and then we've got our comma here, Freire believes that the banking method resists dialogue, while the problem-posing education regards dialogue as indispensable to the act of cognition, which unveils reality. Okay, a couple of things here. One is that she does a really, really good job of handling this complicated quote. So she's actually got two different quotes within her sentence. This one is about the banking method, and this one is about problem posing. And she puts them together, what they say about dialogue. So that's really clear and really nice, the way that she's able to show the two sides within one sentence. I would say that this ending of this quote right here is not clear. We don't really know, or at least I don't really understand what this means here. I really would need more information about this. And it's not even the important part of the quote. So I'm going to just get rid of that, and that makes it much better. And then the bottom bread, this shows that the banking model of education is where teachers are in control of the lectures they give, and the students just listen and memorize. Now, this sentence is only talking about the banking method. It's not talking at all about problem posing. So I don't know if this is the best sentence here. Let's see what the next sentence is. In this banking concept, there is no communication nor participation between the teacher and the student as opposed to the problem posing method of education. This is a much better sentence, and I think it really gets at the heart of what these quotes say about dialogue. And I actually think that we don't need this sentence. We can just get rid of it, although I would like to keep this part of it right here. This shows that in this banking concept, and she uses the word this, that's perfect, referring back to what she referred to in the sentence before. In this banking concept, there is no communication or participation between the teacher and the student as opposed to the problem-posing method of education. That's great. Okay, therefore, now we're making a conclusion here. This is great. Therefore, the problem-posing method of education is a dialogue between the teacher and the students, where the students have the opportunity to participate in their classroom and communicate with one another. Oh, that's just great. That's really a nice little summary without giving too many details, but a nice little summary of problem posing right here. Okay, then based on Freire's experience, this method has proved to be most effective and beneficial for both teaching and learning. So this is kind of more summarizing his overall opinion, but it's very clear here. Nice sentence setting this up right before she gets to her thesis. So we know what she's agreeing with. That's so important. If she had just said, I agree with Freire, but without really giving us this strong and clear sentence before, then it would be probably confusing about what she's agreeing with about with Freire. Okay, and then our final sentence, the thesis statement, and she has a really nice beginning. I strongly agree. That really makes it clear that it is her thesis statement, and it's right where it should be at the end of the first body, or the first, at the end of the introduction. So I strongly agree with Freire and believe that the problem-posing method of education is more effective and beneficial to the teacher, student, and overall society than the banking concept of education. This is a great thesis statement. It's pretty specific, although it doesn't mention how it's beneficial. It does say that it's going to be talking about how it's beneficial to the teacher, how it's beneficial to the student, and how it's beneficial to overall society. So that's what I would be looking for in the body paragraphs, and that's what she should have. She might have separate paragraphs about all of these three, or she might just, in her paragraph about for example, the banking method, she would address all these and say why they're not good. And then in her problem posing paragraph, she would mention all of these and tell us why these are more beneficial. Okay, I hope that helps you understand this introductory paragraph. I'm not looking for this amount of detail from you in your answers. I really just want to know if you think that it's clear, if it's clearly written, and then if anything can be done to improve it, what can be done. So let me know all of those things. Okay, I will talk to you later.